Howdy, I'm the gaming superhero, and today I'm making a kit for Texas Twister. Easily the most random character I've talked about, and you all have Lone Wolf Daniel 23 to thank for that. I needed a proper palate cleanser for after Halloween, and I swear if this does better than Elsa Bloodstone, somebody getting hurt. This is also the video I was referencing like 9 weeks back in the Flash video about tornadoes for the long-time viewers. I don't have any more to say. It's Texas Twister. You don't know who he is. I don't know who he is, so let's get into it after the shoutouts. Except there aren't any. Ain't no way anyone guessed who this was. Editor, show the silhouette. This is the most nondescript silhouette I've ever used, and I only used it because it was like the best image of him. Moving on. Texas Twister, aka Drew Daniels, first appeared in Fantastic Four number 177 in 1976. So no, he isn't some D-list Spider-Man character you haven't heard of, although if he were, you probably would have heard about him. We open on the Fantastic Four, fighting the Frightful Four, -1. Currently made up of the Wizard, Sandman, and Pastepot Pete, going by Trapster currently. They are currently looking for a 4th member. It definitely can't be a woman though. Apparently the last 2 members of this team were women that betrayed them. Sue is offended by this discrimination because women can be anything. The teams fight. There is also a little green man walking around while they fight. He kind of just vanishes after the fight and doesn't show up again. The Frightful Three then defeat the Fantastic Four and trap them in this big pinwheel contraption. If you're wondering why the Frightful did not end the Fantastic Four, it is because they want the Fantastic Four to witness them try out for a 4th member. There's a whole line and everything. The first one up is Osprey, a normal man with bird wings. He has no superpowers or prior experience as a villain. He is then thrown out the window. The 4 then tell all non-powered individuals to go home. Now the next option announces his presence with a huge gust of wind, knocking all 3 on their asses. It is the one, the only Texas Twister. He did this to let them know he does in fact have powers. He towers over all 3 of the cowering villains and tells his backstory of a man that got caught in a tornado that flew into a nuclear plant. So his origin is that he was hit by a radioactive twister. Very cool. He then asks what the starting salary is, because he has also been approached by another group and needs to know if these 3 are competitive. They are confused by this and say he will get a share of whatever job they pull. Twister is displeased with this, and so he walks away, waving the next person in, which is Thundra, one of the 2 past members that betrayed the Frightful Four, because she fell in love with the Thing, apparently. She tries to save the Fantastic Four, but is caught by a trapster. They continue tryouts with the next one, coming in being Captain Ultra, a man with a bird suit with a bunch of random colors. I don't know why there's so many bird people in this. He has all kinds of superpowers: flight, strength, durability. He seems like the perfect choice, except it is revealed that he faints at the sight of fire. Not great for someone who would be fighting the Human Torch regularly. They send him home and call in the next candidate, who is Tigra, a woman. Sandman and Pete are immediately dismissive of her, given past experience, but she is able to woo Wizard and get close to the controls and free Thing and Torch. Frightful Four then tell all the people waiting that if they can help defeat the heroes, they will immediately gain entry. All the villains then run away, not prepared to immediately fight even 2 of the Fantastic Four. However, there is one willing to fight. A big purple brute takes the stairs up to the fight and immediately throws the Thing around like a rag doll into the next room, which has a window into the negative zone. The 3 senior Incel 4 members defeat Torch and Tigra, and Brute sends Thing into the negative zone. It is then revealed that the Brute is an alternate universe Reed Richards. That is where we end the complete clowning of the Fantastic Four. They were laughably ineffective this issue. It is crazy. Not to mention, I have no idea what the message was supposed to be. You have the Sexist 3 going on about how terrible women are, and all the female characters giving them shit for it, but then promptly eating shit. All 3 of the female characters were defeated. As for the main man, he was awesome. I was not expecting him to be that immediately walked into the room, knocking the 3 on their ass, knowing his value and walking out without a second thought. He wasn't auditioning for them, they were auditioning for him, and they failed miserably. I was not expecting the Texas Twister to have such a great introduction to the world. There are so many more well-known and beloved characters that don't even have half the aura this man had coming onto the page for the first time. Done with the fucking accent. I didn't think I'd be able to do it for as long as I did, but I'm done with it. I have made him a duelist. His primary are special projectiles that are small little twisters that glide along the ground that bounce off surfaces, dealing damage to enemies. So if you find him in a small room, run. The projectile will not disappear until either they time out or he reloads, giving it this strategy of deciding whether to reload, to fire more tornadoes, or just leave them to bounce around and beat up Spider-Man, who thought he could go into a small nook for a health pack without having to answer for it. He also has a movement ability to rush forward and up, gliding down afterward. So he just shoots forward while slightly ramping upward, getting pretty high into the sky, and then he'll glide slowly down, with a tornado as his lower half. The old classic Tasmanian devil little tornadoes. I'm not really sure whether the charge should do damage or not. He doesn't really need it, but it might feel weird if he didn't have it. I don't know. I'll let the devs decide, because they are absolutely watching this video and planning to add the Texas Twister within the next year. Yes, before your goat. Stay. Ability 1 is Wind Tunnel. Throw a large tornado that damages enemies and grounds any enemies above it, leaving them in the damaging area. A simple ability. I hope you guys aren't sick of the tornado abilities, because there's gonna be more. There's a lot of them. Although, I don't know what you expected clicking on a Texas Twister video if you don't like tornado abilities. This ability is nice for bringing flying characters down to get hit by his primary fire, because, he can't shoot it straight upward at them. Ability 2 is Eye of the Storm. Creates a shield around himself that, yes, is a twister, that catches projectiles, dealing damage to enemies that are close to him, and shoots the projectiles caught out in random directions that will also hurt enemies, acting as a nice self-sustain that could help throw damage back at enemies. Although a note, it does not throw the projectiles out the same way they came in. So they sort of shoot out as generic projectiles, so you can't catch Iron Man ult and throw it back directly as like an Iron Man ult, similar to Mr. Fantastic's ability. The ultimate is the most difficult thing to come up with, because his whole thing is a tornado, but there's already a big tornado ultimate in the game. It has to be like the only hero shooter with this problem. The DC Rivals, could have been a problem, but I decided to give Flash a different ult. But not with like a specific character in mind for like who would have the tornado, but surely there is some tornado-related DC character. The ability is called Category 5. Become a massive tornado that sucks enemies and projectiles into it, dealing with the damage increasing the more projectiles get caught in it. As you can see, my solution to this problem was to have his ult work more as a fusion of Storm and Magneto than like just a Storm ripoff. You can move in this ult form, but it is slower than Storm's. So it's slightly more stationary, but not like completely. But with the trade-off being that this ult is significantly bigger. I think it's pretty nice and also functions as a big enough difference to justify itself. Speaking of Storm, I gave him and Storm a team-up, because how could you not have the two weather characters team up? The team-up is called Natural Disasters. Storm will enhance all of Twister's twisters, but how depends on which buff she has active. If she has her Lightning Zone buff activated, all the tornadoes will have a larger damage radius. But if she has her Wind buff active, the tornadoes gain a freeze effect, slowing enemies over time until they freeze entirely if affected for too long. Those may sound slightly backwards, but I felt Texas's damage was good enough, and having the buff do that de-incentivizes using anything else, so I had to be a bit more creative. I also wanted an ice ability, because I feel like Storm doesn't utilize snow enough, so I added it as a team-up. Nice making a team-up for characters that are more thematically relevant than just being connected story-wise, because there is actually a jumping-off point for the idea. I've definitely struggled with coming up with team-up ideas in the past. I'm very proud of this one. This might be my best team-up idea so far. And that is how I would add the most obscure character I've ever talked about, and probably will, at least for a long while, going off of the request side. And if you're thinking of asking for the Wall or Big Wheel, thinking those are more obscure, because surprisingly, people constantly talking about how stupid they are raises their presence and people's awareness of them. They are baby's first obscure character. Honestly, at this point, I don't know if I would consider any Spider-Man character relatively obscure, given just being in a Spider-Man comic greatly increases the odds of some loser on YouTube making a 2-hour video essay about you, but, prove me wrong. Request the most obscure Spider-Man character you can think of that isn't just like some random background civilian. They need to have like some sort of superpower or just skill set that have a realistic kit built around it. But as the kit itself, I really had a lot of fun. Apart from trying to differentiate the ultimate from storms, it was really easy. There's a lot you can do with tornadoes, more than I would have thought before getting into it. What do you think of this kitten character? Is she your new favorite cowboy-themed supervillain? Join the Discord to join us for Games of Rivals every Wednesday. Get a chance to see the teaser early, give you more time to figure it out. You can also give skin ideas for this and future characters. Seriously, I need help. I need help coming up with alternate skin ideas for Texas Twister. You know how hard it is to find alternate looks for Texas Twister? Please help. And you're welcome for the rip-roaring good time, partners. Yeah!